Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump broke the law. How do we know? Because the same people who said Trump worked with Russia to hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated, thus giving Clinton the popular vote and forcing Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign in disgrace, while at the same time helping the Kremlin purchase Facebook ads that somehow, miraculously, despite the popular vote, lost the election for Clinton. If you believe this, then you believed that Mueller found evidence that Trump was eager to work with Russia, even though they found nothing. They used a Steele dossier that was literally purchased by his direct political rival in Clinton, who will be the 2020 nominee. It will not be Biden. I have been saying, I'm the only person on planet Earth, the only person on YouTube saying since 2017 that Clinton will be nominee, and she will be. All of this serves Clinton the most. Doesn't really hurt Trump at all. This is just yet another Stormy Avenatti, Michael Cohen, tax records. This is just another bump in the road. Impeachment has been a complete and utter failure for Democrats. Look, they're saying he broke the law by retweeting information that was already public. Sorry, that's not that's not breaking the law. Number one. Number two, so you can look and they're like all over, like, they're obsessed now. Trump, deleted. Oh my God. Yeah, that was public record information. The reason that we live in this Orwellian world where if it's Chelsea Manning or John Kiriakou or Jeffrey Sterling or anyone, Snowden, and God bless Assange, he should be free. You're a publisher, you should be free to publish information that, The Guardian, the New York Times, the Washington Post also publish. But anyway, they say that Trump broke the law by sharing a tweet. They say Trump broke the law by trying to interfere in the 2020 election. They couldn't find anything with the Mueller probe. They couldn't find any campaign finance violations. They couldn't find any. This is actually from the Mueller report. Okay, they couldn't find any campaign finance violations with the Mueller report. They couldn't find anyone who colluded with Russia. They couldn't find anyone who was a foreign agent. All of these things that took place, they had no evidence ever that Trump was communicating with Russia to interfere in the 2016 election. They investigated based on gossip from Alexander Downer and the Australian ambassador and information utilized by a Maltese professor who set up and framed George Papadopoulos. Now, you can look at what they're saying now. They want Trump removed. They want Trump removed from office. They demand that he be removed from office. Here, let me just read you this. Before we get to the nonsense that he committed crimes, there's an article I'll read you really quickly. The Atlantic. This is from an esteemed journalist, David Frum. Very esteemed, respected. People love him. And he's a brilliant journalist. A gangster in the White House, the president. Okay, then they shared information on social media demonstrating he is unrepentant and determined to break the law again. He didn't break any laws. Clinton actually did break laws. Then Comey said, oh, well, you know what, she didn't mean to do it. Here, accordingly, the office concluded the evidence was insufficient. Okay, here, where's okay, so hold on. Here we have, I want to give you here. The evidence was not sufficient. But before we get to the nonsense that he broke the law because he was afraid of Biden, because everyone knows that Biden's Trump's direct political rival, don't you know? Because he's ahead of Amy Klobuchar. That's why he's number one, don't you know? Amy Klobuchar, if you can defeat Cornflakes and then Klobuchar, my God almighty, Trump is shivering in his boots. So what he's doing, he looked into the election a year down the road and said, we're going to investigate Biden and his son by forcing an investigation of Burisma, which already is under investigation, criminal investigation. And even though Biden, who doesn't want to testify, and yes, said he would today, but doesn't really want to, even though he is full of conflicts of interest, that even Marie Yovanovitch, the impeachment witness against Trump, said, yeah, President Obama gave her talking points. His administration gave her talking points regarding Hunter Biden. And the conflicts of interest were known even under President Obama's administration. The fact that Trump would even dare and try to force an investigation and withhold military assistance because he did so. So he didn't just, Trump said he withheld military assistance for the same reason that Biden claims that he forced out a prosecutor because of corruption. He withheld the military assistance because of the corruption, to make sure that it went to the government and not into the pockets of individuals. That you don't believe with Trump, but you believe Biden that he forced out a prosecutor. Well, you probably should read the Mueller report. Second, while the investigation identified numerous links between individuals with ties to the Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign, by the way, that's not illegal, the evidence was not sufficient to support criminal charges. Not sufficient. And this is right here. Page 17 of 448 pages. Among other things, the evidence was not sufficient to charge any campaign official as an unregistered agent of the Russian government or the Russian principal. And our evidence about the June 9, 2016 meeting, release hacked material, was not sufficient to charge a criminal campaign finance violation. Further, the evidence was not sufficient to charge that any member of the Trump campaign conspired with representatives of the Russian government to interfere in the 2016 election. Not sufficient, not sufficient, not sufficient, not sufficient. Meaning there was no evidence. Meaning anything they found had nothing to do with criminal behavior. They didn't indict anyone associated with working alongside Russia to interfere in the election. They indicted 30 plus people because the FBI does that. And the U.S. government, or any government, if they create a monstrous, a labyrinth, a bureaucratic labyrinth of investigations based on suspicion that you don't hold for Trump's political rivals, but you hold for him, and you base your suspicion on your contempt for Trump that's documented within text messages saying, we will stop Trump. Obviously, you can easily get people, did you forget the date of an email? Okay, we're going to get you for obstruction of justice. You lied to the FBI. That's what they did with Papadopoulos. That's what they did with Flynn. This person lied to the FBI. That's obstruction of justice. Oh, my God. Lying to an FBI agent is a felony. Well, how do you know that the 302s, we haven't even seen all the 302s? So how do you know? I mean, they have to change that law. You can't just rely on the opinion of an FBI agent when you know these FBI agents like Strzok were out to get Trump. They literally said that to their lovers. And there was a whole bunch of people stumping one another. It wasn't just Page, it was Kleinsmith, it was Page, it was Strzok. The whole thing was like this big giant, whatever. I have to abide by YouTube policies. But the whole thing is, they say that Trump broke the law because he shared some information on social media. Okay. Yeah. Then they said he broke the law because he tried to influence the 2020 election by withholding military assistance. There's no evidence that he did so because he was afraid of Biden. You have the opinion of diplomats that literally don't have firsthand knowledge or exonerate Trump. Then you have the opinion of scholars that can't stand Trump. They're liberal scholars. There are scholars like Victor Davis Hanson and Jonathan Turley who support President Trump. And others. There are a great many people in academia, in colleges and universities, professors, doctorates in history, very accomplished people who cannot come out and say they support President Trump, because if they did so, it's game over in a university setting. But you have certain people like Victor Davis Hanson, who's written books, The Case for Trump, great book. I suggest you buy it. Go and buy it right now, The Case for Trump by Victor Davis Hanson. Go on Amazon and buy that book. They don't oppose Trump, they despise him. It's a big difference. Professor Hanson states that. But here, check out my segment that's doing quite well today on that they want Trump to resign immediately before the Senate trial. That'll be below in the pinned comment. In the description section. And please share that. The poverty rate in the United States of America has decreased from 12.7% to 11.3%. You have all of these social media morally superior, socialists and anarchists and left-leaning and Democrats and liberals, and they say, oh my God, look what Trump is doing. He's such a horrible person. Poverty has decreased. Nationally, poverty has decreased among black citizens, among Latino citizens. Poverty has decreased. Unemployment is at a record low. Black and Latino unemployment is at a record low as poverty has increased, and household median income for Black and Latino families has increased. The stock market has hit record highs. So how is it that Trump is a bigot? He signs the First Step Act. He reduces poverty. And they say, well, it wasn't him. It was Obama. Well, then it wasn't. Then President Obama didn't preside over the recovery. It was Bush. Didn't Bush start the whole thing? Bush started the bailouts, genius. Bush started the bailouts. So I guess you're going to credit Bush for for President Obama getting us out of the recession, right? Didn't Bush start the bailouts? You mean McCain wouldn't have pumped more money into banks? You mean McCain wouldn't have done what President Obama did? There was already a Republican before McCain that did that. But if there was a record high unemployment among Black and Latino citizens, you better believe liberals would say, my God, Trump has it out for the whole country. A supremacist enabler, but there's record low unemployment for the country, all Americans, including Black and Latino citizens, without whom the Democratic Party does not exist. In every demographic group, people are voting Trump. There are going to be more people of all different backgrounds voting for President Trump in 2020, despite the never-ending onslaught against Trump, because his economic record. If you want to say the tax cuts didn't work, the Dallas Federal Reserve disagrees with you. I quoted that on H.A. Goodman's other channel. It was an article from the Dallas Federal Reserve. It increased GDP. But you can say, fine, it didn't do everything it was intended to do. Doesn't matter. Look at the record. Look what's taking place. They say, well, it's not Trump's doing. Doesn't matter if you don't believe it's Trump's doing. Obviously, President Trump, his policies, the tax cuts helped a little bit, but President Trump is presiding over record low unemployment. He has decreased poverty nationally. He has decreased poverty among the most important voting groups of the Democratic Party. That's why they can't stand him, because he's an existential threat to the Democratic Party. Democrats, what they do is they say, we'll protect you with government. We will protect you. And the Republicans are going to try to hurt you. But this is a Republican in office right now. He's decreased poverty. Unemployment's at record lows. There's record highs in the stock market. Now, if it was just record highs in the stock market, I agree that's not a good indicator. But if there's also record lows in unemployment, it's pretty good. If he's also decreasing poverty, it's pretty good. And then 300,000 manufacturing jobs created under Trump. 300,000 lost under President Obama. That's according to PolitiFact. The wonderful, Democrats and liberals have replaced the Bible with PolitiFact and Snopes. Well, Snopes says that only President Obama could have vetoed the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. Why didn't he? Why didn't he if Democrats are so tough against Russia and Putin was so scared, frightened of Clinton? Give me your thoughts below. And they make up, look, this whole article in the Atlantic. How does it end? By the wonderful David. Donald Trump will not be bound by any rule, even after he has been caught. He hasn't been caught doing anything because he didn't do anything wrong. President Obama also withheld military assistance numerous times. You can do that. You have to prove, like 85 donors gave $156 million into the Clinton Foundation. Okay, the rebuttal is, well, where's the evidence that she took the money to meet the people? Well, you don't see the pattern. Uranium One gave money into the Clinton Foundation, and President Obama didn't veto the sale. You don't know that the President Obama was influenced by the money of the Clinton Foundation. Weapons deal scandal. Countries gave money to Clinton Foundation. They got exponentially greater weapons deals. You can't prove correlation doesn't equal causation. Oh, but Trump withheld military assistance. He's afraid of the no monarchy buster. Oh. Yeah, right. Donald Trump will not be bound by any rule, even after he has been caught. He is unrepentant. Oh, I'm sorry. He should ask for repentance from the monsters in media and the Democratic Party. Oh, that's right. He is unrepentant and determined to break the rules again, in part by punishing those who try to enforce them. No, you enforce your own rules that suit you. That's the Democrats. They love Comey. But you better believe if Christopher Wray or John Durham and William Barr, they love Mueller. They don't love William Barr and John Durham. Wonder why. He is a president with the mind of a gangster. Hey, that's it. As long as he is in office, he will head a gangster White House. This is not even... Do you understand? They are now creating their own reality. They are creating their own reality. That's why they say supporting Trump is immoral. Have you ever heard that? People say, if you support Trump, it's immoral. What's immoral about decreasing poverty from 12.7% to 11.3%? According to USA Today a month back. 12.7% 2016. It's now 11.3%. What's immoral about that? What's immoral about scaling back U.S. foreign policy? What's immoral about bringing home Americans? What's immoral about not getting us out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership and just engaging in tariffs? The European Union and organizations, union organizations around the world, but the EU pushed for tariffs against China. You can look. Trump was just more effective, and his tariffs were a lot bigger. Okay, so and President Obama wanted Trudeau and others to pay more for NATO, but look. There's an NPR article. There's a great NPR. Why is poverty increasing during President Obama's administration? Is it his fault? It can't be his fault. It has to be some other reason. Meanwhile, Trump is a gangster in the White House. Trump, oh, the monster. Poverty decreasing. And you have what? Job creation. What is it like? Over 5 million jobs in just 3 years. More than 5 million in 3 years compared to 8.9 million in 8 years. He's on pace to create more jobs than President Obama, decrease poverty more so than President Obama did. Where's that NPR article really quickly? Okay, where's that NPR article? I love this. You have to... The difference between media, NPR... And by the way, I was quoted in NPR below. It's me, H.A. Goodman, and the esteemed Nate Silver of 538. And in 2015, it's below in the pinned comment. Please share it on social media if you're still on it. I suggest you get off social media. I do not have a Twitter account. I do not have a Facebook account. But anyway, 2015, I called the election. I said Clinton is unelectable. Nate Silver said it's 538's emphatic belief that Trump won't be GOP nominee. Guess who was right and who was wrong? Okay, so that's below in the pinned comment. NPR quoted me. This will be the second election I call accurately. Clinton's going to be nominee. This is all for Clinton. But anyway, NPR Obama Poverty. Here. This is 2015, August 17th. Now, I told you, check out my segment prior to this one. I list all the links in the segment. President Trump is decreasing poverty tremendously nationally. But here, this is NPR. Fact check. Is it Obama's fault that poverty has grown? Oh, I mean, it can't be. Meanwhile, there are no NPR articles saying, poverty has decreased under President Trump. Poverty has decreased. Okay? So, was it Obama's fault? But still, poverty did grow under Obama. So what did he do about it? He expanded a lot of programs that most directly affect the poorest American lives. And according to one expert, he did an admirable job. Where are the experts that say that Trump's doing an admirable job? They're all I'm with her people. My God almighty, they're all I'm with her people. They're all I'm with her people. He did an admirable job? Wow. Because guess what? I just in my last segment, I go through all the links and all the census. 22% poverty rate for black citizens under President Obama in 2016. It went down to 20.8%. Okay, has to go down to the infinitely lower, obviously. Okay, but it went down to 20.8% under Trump for Latino, Hispanic, and Latino citizens. The poverty rate was over 19% under President Obama in 2016. Now it's a little over 17%. It dropped about 2 percentage points. Okay? The unemployment rate for Latino and Hispanic men is below the national average. The record low unemployment of 3.6%, and you have 2.9% unemployment. Below the national average. So tell me again how he's a monster. Trump is a monster! Give me your thoughts below. The hysterical, maniacal, rabid, pathetic imbeciles will not remove the president. They won't even impeach him. They still, according to Noah Feldman, one of the impeachment witnesses, he's not even impeached. Because Pelosi hasn't given the impeachment nonsense to the Senate. Where Mitch McConnell will just simply, not deal with it.
Oh, hi, Nancy. Nancy. You haven't given me the articles of impeachment yet. So, what is it that you want us to do? You just want us to sit here and wait for you to impeach President Trump again? Well, we can do that, Nancy. We aim to please.
I'm trying. I don't feel it. I just don't feel it. I don't feel it today. Let me see if I can do it. Okay.
Oh, Nancy, you want a fair Senate trial. What is it you want me to do? What was that you say? Skydive from 10,000 feet and drop into the Atlantic Ocean while you, Schiff, and Nadler throw chum in the water with raging great white sharks. And I have to go into that after skydiving and dropping into shark-infested water. And that's what you consider a fair trial. Okay. Well, I don't think I can do that, Nancy. I don't think that I'll be able to do that. But you go ahead and send those articles of impeachment whenever you want to. And I'll work on that skydiving request.
I'm trying. I know sometimes I feel it, sometimes I don't feel it. I don't know. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. They can't deal with the reality of President Trump. So the reality is he's objectively a very good president. Because of his personality, they say, well, it doesn't matter that President Obama destroyed an African nation in Libya with a failed NATO intervention. Did you see what Trump said about a country in that region of the world? No, you don't know. He never even said anything. You have no idea. It was a Democratic staffer that said it, that heard him say something. But failed NATO intervention that destroys a country, and what Trump might have said, and you better believe liberal Democrat media, your friends and family at Thanksgiving and Christmas, can you imagine what Trump said? President Obama actually destroyed a country with a failed NATO intervention in that region of the world. He tried, okay? Okay, look, things aren't perfect, but can you believe Trump's personality? They have to create an aura around Trump, do you understand? Because they have to create this image that says more about them than it does about Trump. So what if Trump's belligerent? He's done a lot better for the country and the world. And that's objective reality. Paul Krugman said he'd thrust the world into a global recession. Poverty's decreasing, the GDP is up, stock market's up, historic levels, record low unemployment. So, yeah, give me your thoughts below. Trump has broke the law. He must be removed. Give me your thoughts. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. Clinton's running. Why do you think Trump told Clinton to run, dared Clinton to run yesterday? Of course, nobody's talking about that. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.